I'm Mr. Midnight Hollow, your terrifying host, and you're about to witness that journey in today's episode of Tales from the Shadows. Today, I've got a savage and unrelenting story featuring werewolf packs, military operations against supernatural threats, brutal survival against creatures that should not exist, and plenty more. If you're already part of our pack, your support means the world to us. Each like, comment, and share helps uncover more stories like this. Or subscribe to see what rises from the depths of darkness and unfolds before you. Now, let's begin. I came back from Afghanistan with nothing but scars and silence. Detroit wasn't home anymore. It was just a place where my family waited. My name is Marcus Brennan, Staff Sergeant, 3rd Infantry Division. 2 tours, 17 confirmed kills. I thought the worst was behind me when I stepped off that plane at Detroit Metropolitan. I was wrong. My wife Rachel worked nights at Mercy Hospital. Our daughter Emma was 8. My son Tyler was 5. They lived in a 2-story house on Woodward Avenue, near the old theater district. I'd been sending checks for 3 years. Rachel said she painted Emma's room yellow. Tyler wanted bunk beds. I never got to see any of it. The night I arrived, October 14th, I took a cab from the airport. The driver didn't talk. I was grateful. The house was dark when we pulled up. No porch light. Rachel always left the porch light on. I paid the driver and grabbed my duffel. The front door was open, not unlocked. Open, hanging on one hinge. My training kicked in before my brain did. I dropped the bag and pulled the knife from my belt. Standard issue, 7 inches. I'd killed 3 men with it in Kandahar. The smell hit me at the threshold. Copper, meat, death. I'd smelled it in desert villages and mountain caves. But this was my house, my family's house. The living room was destroyed. Couch overturned. Coffee table in pieces. Blood on the walls. Not splatter. Claw marks. Deep gouges in the drywall running from ceiling to floor. 4 parallel lines, each one dripping. I found Rachel first. She was in the kitchen. What was left of her? Her throat was gone. Just gone. Her chest cavity opened like something had reached inside and pulled. Her eyes were still open, still terrified. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stood there, knife in hand, cataloging the scene like I'd been trained. Emma was upstairs, her yellow room. She'd been hiding under the bed. It hadn't helped. Tyler was in the hallway. He'd tried to run. The coroner's report would say animal attack, large predator, possibly multiple. The detective assigned to the case told me it looked like wolf bites, wolves in Detroit. He said it like he didn't believe it either. I buried them on October 18th, 3 caskets, closed service. I didn't look inside. I'd already seen enough. The police closed the investigation after 2 weeks. No leads, no suspects, no goddamn answers. But I found something they missed. In Emma's room, under her bed where she died, there was a tuft of fur. Coarse, dark gray. Too big for a dog, too thick for a wolf. And there was something else. A partial print in the blood on the hallway floor. It started as a paw. 4 pads, claws. But halfway through it changed. The pads elongated. The claws shortened. By the end of the print, it looked almost human. Almost. I took photographs, I bagged the evidence. I didn't tell the police. Because I knew they wouldn't believe what I was starting to suspect. On October 31st, exactly 17 days after my family died, I was sitting in the ruins of my living room with a bottle of whiskey and my service pistol. I had 14 rounds. 13 for whatever killed my family. 1 for myself. That's when I heard the howl. It came from somewhere south. Deep and long. Not like any dog I'd ever heard. It resonated in my chest, made my teeth ache. I stood up, walked to the broken window, looked out into the Detroit night, and I saw it. Standing in the middle of Woodward Avenue, under a streetlight, was something that shouldn't exist. It stood on 2 legs, easily 7 feet tall, covered in fur. Its arms were too long. Its hands ended in claws that gleamed in the lamplight. Its face was wrong. Elongated snout. Too many teeth. eyes that reflected yellow. It was looking directly at me. We stared at each other for maybe 10 seconds. Then it smiled. I didn't know animals could smile, but this thing did. And then it ran, not on all fours, on 2 legs, like a man, but faster than any man could move. It cleared a parked car in a single leap and disappeared into an alley. I grabbed my pistol and ran outside. The street was empty, but on the pavement where it had been standing, I found tracks. Paw prints that shifted into footprints, just like in my hallway. I followed them into the alley. They led to a chain-link fence, 8 feet tall. The creature had cleared it easily. On the other side was an abandoned factory. Packard plant. Old automotive facility. Been empty for decades. The tracks led inside. I started to climb the fence. Then I stopped. Because I heard something else. Multiple howls. Coming from inside the factory. Answering the first one. There wasn't just one. There was a pack. I didn't go into the factory that night. I'm not stupid. I'd walked into ambushes in Helmand province. This felt the same. Multiple hostiles. Unknown numbers. Unfamiliar terrain. So I went home and I planned. First, I needed to understand what I was hunting. The library downtown had a folklore section. I spent 3 days there, reading everything about werewolves, lycanthropy, shapeshifters. Most of it was garbage, silver bullets, full moons, Hollywood nonsense. But some of it made sense. European accounts from the 1600s described creatures that walked like men but killed like wolves. They hunted in packs. They were intelligent. They chose victims carefully. Isolated families. Rural homes. People no one would miss quickly. One account from France, 1764, described a creature called the Beast of Gévaudan. It killed over 100 people in 3 years. Witnesses said it was larger than any wolf, that it seemed to plan its attacks, that it avoided traps. It was finally killed by a local hunter named Jean Chastel. He used blessed bullets and iron mixed with silver. The body was examined. The report described it as deformed, neither fully wolf nor fully human. I took notes, iron and silver, not just silver. Next, I needed weapons. I couldn't exactly walk into a gun store and say I was hunting werewolves, but I still had contacts from the service. A guy named Peterson ran a shop in Dearborn. We'd served together in Kabul. I drove out there on November 3rd. The shop was called Peterson's Firearms. It looked like every other gun store. Faded American flag, NRA stickers, open sign buzzing in the window. Peterson was behind the counter. He'd put on weight since discharge. His beard was gray now, but his eyes were still sharp. "Marcus Brennan," he said. "Heard about your family, I'm sorry." I nodded. "I need weapons." "What kind?" "Heavy caliber, rifles, shotguns, something that'll stop a large target." "Ye hunting?" "Something like that." He studied me for a moment. Then he nodded and led me to the back room. I walked out with a Remington 870 shotgun, a Weatherby Mark V rifle, 200 rounds of ammunition, and a combat knife. Cost me $3,000. I didn't care, but I still needed the silver and iron. That took longer. I found a metallurgist in Ann Arbor through a university contact, guy named Dr. Hammond. He specialized in alloy research. I told him I needed custom bullets. Copper jacketed, core mixture of silver and iron, blessed if possible. He asked why. I told him it was for a personal project. He didn't ask again. It took him a week to make 50 rounds. I picked them up on November 10th. He'd done good work. Each bullet was perfectly balanced. The silver iron core was dense. It would punch through bone like paper. I paid him $500 in cash. Now I was armed. But I still needed to know where they were. The Packard plant was massive. 35 buildings, over 3 million square feet. It had been rotting since 1956. Squatters, drug dealers, scrappers. No one went there after dark. I started surveillance on November 11th. I parked 3 blocks away, approached on foot, brought binoculars, a thermal scope I'd borrowed from Peterson. The first 2 nights, I saw nothing. The third night, I saw movement. Around 2 a.m., something emerged from the main building. Through the thermal scope, it registered as large, humanoid. But the heat signature was wrong. Too hot, like it was burning from the inside. It moved across the lot, stopped at the fence, looked around. Then it dropped to all fours and ran. It cleared the fence and disappeared into the city, hunting. I followed its general direction with the scope. It headed toward residential areas. East Side, where people still lived in isolated houses, where someone could scream and no one would hear. I'd found their den. But I needed confirmation. The next night, I brought a camera with a telephoto lens. I set up across the street, waited. At 1:30 a.m. they came out, 5 of them. All massive, all moving on 2 legs. They gathered in the lot, seemed to communicate. Not with words, with gestures, body language. One of them, larger than the others, appeared to be in charge. It pointed. The others scattered. They were coordinating. I took 47 photographs. When I got home and reviewed them, I noticed something else. One of the creatures had a scar across its face. 3 parallel lines. Like it had been clawed. I'd seen that scar before. In a police photo from a murder investigation 3 months ago. A warehouse worker named David Mills had been attacked and killed near the riverfront. The police suspected gang violence, but the coroner noted unusual wounds. Bite marks, claw marks. Mills had fought back. He'd cut his attacker. 3 parallel lines across the face. The creature I'd photographed was Mills's killer, and now it was one of them. Which meant these things didn't just kill. They converted. Anyone they bit. Anyone who survived the attack. They became infected. Rachel, Emma, Tyler. They died human. Thank God they died human. But if I'd been here that night, if I'd fought back, if I'd been bitten. I looked down at my hands. Steady. Human. For now. I needed to move faster. I spent the next 2 days studying the Packard plant layout. Old blueprints from the city archives. Structural plans. I marked exits, identified choke points, planned attack vectors. I'd done this before, in Fallujah, in Mosul, urban combat, clear the building, eliminate the targets. But this wasn't insurgents. This was something worse. On November 15th, I loaded my weapons. The shotgun got 12 silver iron shells. The rifle got 30. I strapped the combat knife to my thigh, put on my old tactical vest. It still had bloodstains from Afghanistan. I drove to the Packard plant at 11 p.m. The lot was empty. The buildings loomed like tombstones. No lights, no sound. I parked a block away, approached on foot, entered through a collapsed wall on the south side. Inside was darkness. I used a red lens flashlight, less visible. The floor was concrete, littered with debris, broken glass, rusted metal. Graffiti covered the walls, gang tags, satanic symbols. Stupid kids thinking they were dangerous. They had no idea what real danger was. I moved deeper, following the tracks I'd seen in the photographs. They led to a stairwell, down into the basement. The smell got worse as I descended. Rot, feces, old blood. At the bottom I found bones, human bones, piled in the corner, gnawed, cracked open for marrow. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. How long had they been hunting here? I heard movement above me, footsteps, multiple. They were back. I killed the flashlight, pressed against the wall, controlled my breathing, slowed my heart rate. Old techniques, still worked. The footsteps stopped at the top of the stairs. Then I heard something else, sniffing. They were scenting the air. They smelled me. One of them descended, slowly, deliberately. I could see its silhouette against the dim light from above, massive, hunched, claws scraping the railing. It reached the bottom step, turned its head toward me. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, yellow, predatory. It smiled. Then it lunged. I fired the shotgun point blank. The blast lit up the basement. The creature's chest exploded. Silver and iron tore through fur and muscle. It shrieked and staggered backward, but it didn't fall. It grabbed the shotgun barrel, ripped it out of my hands, threw it across the room. I pulled the combat knife, jammed it into its throat, twisted. Hot blood sprayed across my face. The thing clawed at me, caught my shoulder, tore through the vest, through skin. I felt ribs crack. I yanked the knife out, stabbed again and again. The creature gurgled, collapsed. I didn't wait. I ran. Behind me, I heard howling. The others had heard the shotgun blast. They were coming. I hit the stairs, took them 3 at a time, burst through the doorway into the main floor, grabbed my rifle from where I'd dropped it. 3 of them came through the entrance, moving fast, on all 4s now, like wolves. I fired. The rifle kicked. 1 went down, headshot, brain matter on the wall. The other 2 split up, flanking. I backed toward the exit, fired again, missed, fired. Hit 1 in the shoulder. It spun but kept coming. I ran, out through the collapsed wall, into the lot. They followed, faster than I was. Gaining. I reached my truck, threw open the door. 1 of them leapt, landed on the hood, claws denting metal. It reached through the windshield, grabbed my throat. I shoved the rifle barrel into its mouth, pulled the trigger. Its head came apart. The body slumped. Slid off the hood. I started the engine, floored it. The other creature chased, kept pace for 3 blocks, then fell behind. I didn't stop driving until I was across the city. My shoulder was bleeding bad. I could feel bone grinding. I pulled into a 24-hour clinic in Hamtramck, told them I'd been mugged. They bought it. Detroit was that kind of city. 17 stitches, antibiotics, painkillers. I went home and counted my kills. 2 dead, 3 escaped, including the leader. Not good enough. I spent the next week healing and planning. The attack had been sloppy. I'd gone in alone. No backup, no exit strategy. Stupid. In Afghanistan, we never operated solo. Fire teams, 4 men minimum, covering each other. Communication, discipline. I needed help. But who the hell do you call for this? I started researching. Online forums, dark web, cryptozoology sites. Most of it was lunatics, conspiracy theorists. But some threads seemed credible. One forum caught my attention. Called The Hunt. Members discussed supernatural encounters, shared photographs, evidence. There was a thread about Detroit. A user named Silverfang had posted 3 months ago. Claimed they'd tracked werewolf activity in Michigan, mentioned the Packard plant specifically. Said they lost contact with a team member investigating it. I sent a private message. Still hunting in Detroit? The reply came 12 hours later. Who's asking? Someone who killed 2 of them. Meet me, Monday. Eastern Market, noon. Come alone. Eastern Market was public, crowded, safe, smart choice. I arrived early, positioned myself near the fishmonger stalls, watched the crowd. At 12:05, a woman approached, mid-30s, short dark hair, leather jacket, scar across her jaw. She looked military, moved like it too. Silverfang? I asked. She nodded. Marcus Brennan, Staff Sergeant, 3rd Infantry, family killed October 14th. You've been making noise. You check me out. I check everyone. How'd you kill them? Silver iron bullets, combat knife. She smiled. Not friendly, approving. Most people die their first encounter. You killed 2. I'm impressed. You hunt these things? For 8 years, since one killed my brother in Montana. I've tracked packs in 7 states. Detroit's different though. Bigger pack, more organized. They're not just killing, they're building something. Building what? An army. She pulled out a tablet, showed me a map. Red dots marked locations across Detroit. East Side, West Side, downtown. Each dot is a disappearance or unexplained death in the last 6 months. 47 people, all fitting the profile. Isolated, vulnerable. No witnesses. You think they're converting them? Some, others they just kill. Depends on the victim. They're selective, looking for certain traits. What traits? Strong, aggressive, violent history. They want soldiers, not victims. Made sense. Military strategy. Build your force from capable recruits. How many are there? In Detroit, I've confirmed 8, but there could be more. I killed 2. That leaves 6. At least 6. And they know you now. They've scented you, marked you. They'll come for you. Good. Saves me the trouble of finding them. She studied me. You're not afraid. I've got nothing left to be afraid for. She nodded. Then let's work together. I've got resources, intel, equipment. You've got skills, experience. We can hit them hard. What's your plan? Same as yours. Find the pack, kill them all. But we do it smart, coordinated. We scout their movements, identify patterns, strike when they're vulnerable. When? They hunt at night, rest during the day. We hit them at dawn, when they're sluggish, transitioning back. Back to what? Human form. I stared at her. You didn't know? They shift. Night, they're monsters. Day, they're human. It takes energy to hold the wolf form. When the sun rises, they revert. That's when they're weakest. So they're walking around, living normal lives. Exactly. They have jobs, families, neighbors. No one suspects. How do we identify them? She pulled out a small device, looked like a UV scanner. This detects biological markers, elevated core temperature, abnormal enzyme levels. It's not perfect, but it works. We spent the next hour planning. She had safe houses, weapons caches, contacts in the medical field who could treat injuries without questions. Her name was Claire Donovan, ex-Army Ranger, dishonorable discharge after she'd killed a superior officer. He'd been infected. She'd figured it out. No one believed her. She'd been hunting alone ever since. Now she had a partner. Over the next 4 days, we surveilled the Packard plant, documented movements, counted pack members. We confirmed 7. The leader was a man named Victor Kane. He owned a construction company. Legitimate business, but Claire had tracked his financials. He'd been buying property, abandoned buildings, warehouses, all over Detroit. He's expanding, Claire said. Building safe houses, dens. He's not just surviving, he's establishing territory. So we kill him. The pack falls apart. Maybe, or it fragments. Smaller packs, harder to track. Then we kill them all at once. How? Fire, I explained. The Packard plant was old, dry wood, plenty of accelerant. We trap them inside. Burn it down. Claire shook her head. Too many variables. If even one escapes, it'll warn others. We need to eliminate them systematically. So we draw them out. With what? I looked at her. Bait. She understood immediately. You want to use yourself. They want me. They'll come. You'll die. Not if you're covering me. She didn't like it, but she didn't have a better plan. We spent another 2 days preparing, set up positions, sniper's nest, escape routes, kill zones. On November 24th, we executed. I went into the Packard plant alone. 11 p.m. Carried a flashlight, made noise. Let them know I was there. They came fast. 4 of them, surrounding me. The leader stayed back, watching. I didn't fight, I ran, led them outside. Into the lot, where Claire was waiting. The first shot took down the closest one. The second hit another in the spine. I drew my pistol, fired, emptied the magazine. 3 down. The 4th reached me, tackled me. We hit the ground hard. It bit down on my arm. I felt teeth pierce skin, scrape bone. Then Claire's rifle barked again. The creature's head snapped back. It collapsed on top of me. I shoved it off, looked at my arm. Blood. Deep puncture wounds. I'd been bitten. Claire ran over, saw the wound. Her face went pale. How long? I asked. Infection takes hold in hours. You'll start changing by dawn. Then we finish this tonight. Marcus, I'm not dying human to become one of them. We end this, now. She hesitated, then nodded. We went back inside. The leader was waiting. Victor Kane stood in the center of the main floor, 8 feet tall in his true form, muscles rippling under gray fur. eyes like burning coal. He wasn't surprised to see us. He was expecting us. "Marcus Brennan," he said. His voice was deep, guttural, but clear. "The soldier who won't die." I raised my rifle. "Tonight, that changes." He laughed. The sound echoed through the empty factory. Behind him, 2 more creatures emerged from the shadows, the last of his pack. "You killed 4 of my family," Kane said. "Impressive, but futile. You're already one of us. I can smell the infection in your blood." My arm throbbed where I'd been bitten. The wound was hot, fever spreading through my veins. "I've got a few hours left," I said. "Plenty of time to finish this." Kane tilted his head. "You could join us instead. Embrace what you're becoming. You're a warrior. We need warriors." Detroit is just the beginning. We're building something bigger, an empire. An empire of monsters. An empire of the strong. Humans are weak, fragile. We're evolution. The next step. You've seen combat. You know the truth. Survival belongs to the predators. "I've seen monsters before," I said. "In Kandahar, in Mosul. Men who thought strength meant brutality. I put bullets in all of them." "Then you're already like us." "No. I killed to protect. You kill because you can." Kane's expression darkened. "Your family died because they were prey, weak, defenseless. You weren't there to save them, because you were overseas, killing for a country that doesn't care about you, fighting wars that don't matter." My finger tightened on the trigger. "But you can honor their memory," Kane continued. "Become what they couldn't. Strong, immortal. Join us. Hunt with us." "I've got a better idea." I fired. The bullet hit Kane's chest. Silver and iron punching through fur and bone. He staggered, roared, but didn't fall. The other 2 charged. Claire fired from her position, took down one. The second leaped, covered 20 feet in a single bound. Landed on me. We crashed into the concrete. Claws raked across my chest. I felt ribs crack, lung puncture. I couldn't breathe. The creature's jaws opened wide, going for my throat. I jammed the rifle barrel under its chin, fired. The skull exploded, brain and bone everywhere. I shoved the corpse off, gasped for air. Blood filled my mouth. Claire was reloading. Kane was still standing, the chest wound closing, regenerating. "You can't kill me," Kane said. "I'm too old, too strong. I've been this for 30 years. Your little bullets are nothing." I pulled the combat knife. "Then I'll do it the old way," I charged. Kane met me halfway. We collided. His strength was overwhelming. He lifted me, threw me into a support column. My spine hit concrete. Everything went numb. Kane walked over, slow, confident. "You fought well, but this ends now." He reached down, grabbed my throat, lifted me off the ground. His claws dug into my neck. I felt blood running down my chest. "Any last words, soldier?" I looked him in the eyes. "Yeah, behind you." He turned. Too late. Claire had circled around. She held a different weapon now. Flamethrower, military grade, fuel tank strapped to her back. She pulled the trigger. Fire engulfed Kane. He screamed, dropped me. Staggered backward. The flames clung to his fur, his skin. He tried to pat them out. But the fire spread. Chemical accelerant. It burned hot enough to melt steel. Kane ran, crashed through a wall, disappeared into the darkness, still burning, still screaming. Claire helped me up. "Can you move?" I nodded. Barely. My chest was crushed, ribs grinding. Every breath was agony. "We need to go," she said, "before the fire spreads." But I heard something else. Movement, multiple footsteps. Coming from deeper in the plant. "There's more?" I said. Claire heard it too. She reloaded her rifle. "How many?" "I don't know." They emerged from doorways, from stairwells, from holes in the walls. Not wolves, humans, men and women. Different ages, different builds. But their eyes were the same. Yellow, predatory, the converted. There weren't 6 in the pack. There were dozens. "Fall back," Claire said. We ran. Out through the collapsed wall, into the lot. Behind us, the factory was burning. Flames spreading through the dry wood and debris. Black smoke rising into the Detroit night. But they followed, pouring out of the building. Transforming as they ran. Skin splitting. Fur erupting. Bones cracking and reforming. Claire threw me the flamethrower. "Buy me time!" She ran to her truck, opened the back, pulled out something heavy. C4, military explosive. Enough to level a building. I turned. Fired the flamethrower. A wall of flame erupted between us and the pack. They scattered. Some caught fire, shrieking, rolling on the ground, but others circled, flanking. "Claire, hurry!" She was setting charges, placing them around the perimeter, creating a blast zone. One of the creatures got past the flames, lunged at me. I dropped the flamethrower, drew my pistol, fired. It went down. Another came. I fired again. Empty. I grabbed the knife. The creature tackled me. We hit the ground. It bit down on my shoulder, the same shoulder that had been clawed earlier. I screamed. Stabbed blindly. The knife found its eye. It howled, released me. Claire grabbed my arm, hauled me to my feet. "Move!" We ran to her truck. She shoved me inside, started the engine, floored it. Behind us, the Packard plant was swarming with wolves. They poured out of every opening, at least 50, maybe more. Claire pulled out a detonator. "Hold on." She pressed the button. The explosion was massive. The blast wave hit the truck, shattered the back window, flipped us onto 2 wheels. We crashed back down, kept driving. I looked back. The factory was collapsing, walls crumbling, roof caving in, flames shooting hundreds of feet into the air. Bodies everywhere, burning, screaming, but some were still moving, still alive, crawling out of the rubble. "It's not enough," I said. Claire didn't answer. She just drove. We made it 3 miles before I started convulsing. The infection was accelerating. My body temperature spiked. 105, 107. I was burning from the inside. "Claire, the bite. It's spreading." She glanced at me, her face grim. "I know. You have to kill me before I turn." "No, Claire. There's another way, but it's not guaranteed." She pulled into an alley, abandoned warehouse district. She dragged me out of the truck, into a building, downstairs, into a basement. There were medical supplies, equipment, a metal table with restraints. "What is this?" "Emergency treatment. I've used it twice. It worked once." She strapped me down, arms, legs, chest. I couldn't move. "What are you doing?" She pulled out a syringe, filled it with something yellow. Viscous. "This is concentrated wolfsbane extract, mixed with silver nitrate and holy water. If I inject it directly into your bloodstream, it might kill the infection. Or it might kill you. 50-50 chance." "Do it. Marcus, do it." She hesitated, then nodded, jabbed the needle into my arm, pressed the plunger. The pain was instant. Fire in my veins. Every nerve ending screaming. I thrashed against the restraints, metal cutting into my wrists, my ankles. My bones started breaking, reforming, my jaw extended, teeth sharpening. I could feel my humanity slipping away. Claire watched, rifle in hand, ready to shoot if I turned. I screamed, kept screaming. The pain went on forever. Then it stopped. I collapsed against the table, gasping. My body was my own again, human. The fever was gone. Claire checked my pulse, my temperature. She smiled. "You made it." I looked at my arm. The bite wounds were still there, but the infection was gone. I could feel it, the wrongness in my blood. It was dead. "How long was I out?" 6 hours, it's dawn." I sat up slowly. Everything hurt, but I was alive and human. "We didn't kill them all," I said. "No, but we damaged them. Kane's probably dead. The rest are scattered. It'll take them time to regroup. Then we hunt them down, one by one." Claire nodded. "That's the plan, but not today." "You need to heal. So do I." She was right. We were both torn apart, bleeding, exhausted. But the war wasn't over. Somewhere in Detroit, the survivors were hiding, licking their wounds, planning their revenge. And I'd be ready, because I wasn't just Marcus Brennan anymore. I wasn't just a soldier, I was a hunter. And I had a city to save. 3 weeks passed. My wounds healed slowly. Claire kept us hidden in a network of safe houses across Detroit, apartments in Highland Park, storage units in Hamtramck, an old mechanic's shop in Corktown. We monitored police reports, emergency calls, looking for patterns, the kind of deaths that didn't make sense, bodies torn apart, missing organs, witnesses reporting impossible things. There were 7 incidents in those 3 weeks. A homeless man found in an alley off Michigan Avenue, throat removed, defensive wounds on his hands, police blamed stray dogs. A college student disappeared near Wayne State University. Her body turned up in Belle Isle Park 3 days later. What remained of it? Coroner ruled it an animal attack. Case closed. A security guard at a warehouse in River Rouge, found inside a locked building, chest cavity empty, blood everywhere. No signs of forced entry. "They're hunting carefully," Claire said. She spread photographs across the table, crime scene images she'd obtained through her contacts. No witnesses, isolated victims. Nothing that connects back to the Packard plant. "They're rebuilding," I said. "Or migrating. Finding new territory." I studied the map she'd marked. The attacks were scattered. No clear pattern. But something felt wrong about it. "These locations," I said, pointing, "they're too spread out. If they're rebuilding, they'd stay concentrated. Establish a new den, protect it." Claire frowned. "So what are they doing?" "Testing us, seeing if we're still hunting." "Why would they care?" "Because we hurt them, bad. We killed most of their pack. Destroyed their home. They want revenge, but they're being smart about it, feeling us out, waiting for us to make a mistake. Then we don't make mistakes." But we were running out of leads. The survivors had gone to ground. No more mass attacks. No more patterns to follow. Until December 9th. Claire got a call from one of her sources. A paramedic named Rodriguez. He'd been working a scene in southwest Detroit, near the old train depot. "You need to see this," he'd told her. We met him at 2 a.m. in the parking lot of a closed diner. He looked shaken, hands trembling as he lit a cigarette. "I've been doing this job for 12 years, Rodriguez said. "I've seen everything, shootings, stabbings, car wrecks, but nothing like this." "What happened?" Claire asked. "We got a call, domestic disturbance, house on Verner Highway. When we arrived, the door was open. Inside was a massacre. Family of 4, parents, 2 kids, all dead, torn to pieces." "Animal attack?" I asked. "That's what we're calling it. But Marcus, I saw the bodies. This wasn't random. Whoever did this took their time, made them suffer. The father was found in the kitchen, arms ripped off, bled out slowly. The mother was upstairs, partially eaten. The kids..." He couldn't finish. Claire handed him a flask. He drank, steadied himself. "There's more," he said. "On the wall, in blood. Someone wrote a message." "What did it say?" Rodriguez pulled out his phone, showed us a photograph. The message was simple. 3 words. "We know you." My blood went cold. "They're targeting families," I said, "like they did with mine." "Not random families," Claire said. "This is a message. For us." Rodriguez looked between us. "What the hell is going on?" "You don't want to know," Claire said. "But you need to be careful. If they know about us, they might know about you." Rodriguez went pale. "I have a wife, 3 daughters. Get them out of Detroit," I said. "Tonight. Don't tell anyone where you're going. Stay away for a month. Maybe longer." He didn't argue. He left. Claire and I went to the crime scene. The police had already cleared out. Yellow tape across the door. No guard. Detroit didn't have the resources for that. We went inside. The smell was overwhelming. Death. Fear. The walls were covered in blood. Claw marks everywhere. The furniture destroyed, bodies removed, but the shapes remained. Dark stains on the carpet. I found the message. It was in the living room, written in the father's blood. The letters were large, crude, made with fingers instead of claws. They wanted us to find this, Claire said. They're baiting us. Into what? I studied the room. Something was off. The attack was brutal, messy. But there was no sign of a struggle. No defensive wounds on the bodies, according to Rodriguez. The family didn't fight back, I said. Maybe they didn't have time. No. Look at the scene. This took hours. The father was tortured. The mother was partially eaten. That doesn't happen quickly. Someone would have screamed. Neighbors would have heard. Police would have been called. So what are you saying? I'm saying this was staged. The family was already dead when the wolves got here. Claire checked the kitchen, opened the refrigerator, found food, still fresh. On the counter there were dishes, dinner plates, half-eaten meals. They were poisoned, she said. Look, the food's still here. They ate. Then they died. Quick. No time to react. I checked the plates, smelled the residue, bitter almonds, cyanide. Someone killed them first, I said, then made it look like a wolf attack. Who? Someone who knows what we're hunting, someone who wants us distracted. We heard sirens. Distant, but getting closer. Someone had called the police. Probably a neighbor who saw our flashlights. We need to leave, Claire said. We exited through the back, climbed the fence. Disappeared into the alley before the cruisers arrived. Back at the safe house, we reviewed what we knew. The attack was fake. Someone was manipulating us, leading us somewhere. It's a trap, Claire said, obviously. Question is, who set it? Kane. If he survived the Packard plant, he'd want revenge. Kane's dead. I saw him burn. You saw him run. Burning. That's different. She had a point. Werewolves regenerated. Maybe Kane survived. Maybe he was out there. Planning. But something else bothered me. The message wasn't in Kane's style, I said. He was arrogant, confident. He wouldn't hide behind fake crime scenes. He'd come at us directly. Then who? I thought back to the Packard plant, the dozens of converted wolves. We'd killed many, but some escaped, and one of them might be smarter than Kane, more patient. Someone who knows military tactics, I said. Psychological warfare, misdirection. Another soldier? Maybe. Claire pulled up files on her laptop. Lists of missing persons, unsolved murders. She cross-referenced them with military records. There, she said, pointing at a name. Captain Derek Hartman, Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq, reported missing 6 months ago, last seen in Detroit. His car was found near the Packard plant. I recognized the name. We'd served in different units, but I'd heard stories. Hartman was smart, ruthless, court-martialed for excessive force, dishonorable discharge. He'd disappeared before trial. If Hartman was converted, I said, he'd be dangerous. He'd know how to fight us. More than dangerous, he'd be a leader. Kane might have recruited him. Or Hartman killed Kane and took over. Either way, we had a new enemy, one with military training, one who understood how we thought. We need to find him, Claire said. He'll find us. That's the point of the message. So what do? We prepare, and we wait. But we didn't have to wait long. The next night, December 10th, someone knocked on the safe house door. 3 times. Slow and deliberate. Claire grabbed her rifle. I pulled my pistol. We approached the door carefully. Who is it? Claire called. A voice answered, deep, calm, familiar. Open the door, Brennan. We need to talk. I looked through the peephole, saw a man, late 30s, military haircut, scar across his neck. Captain Derek Hartman. He was alone, hands visible, no weapons, but I could see his eyes. Even through the peephole. They glowed yellow in the darkness. It's him, I said. Claire aimed at the door. We shoot through it. Wait, Marcus. He came alone, unarmed. If he wanted to attack, he'd bring the pack. So what does he want? Let's find out. I opened the door, kept my pistol raised. Hartman didn't move, just smiled. Hello, Marcus. Long time? Not long enough. What do you want? To make a deal. Hartman stepped inside. Claire kept her rifle trained on him. I closed the door but didn't holster my weapon. What kind of deal? I asked. Hartman sat down on the couch, moved like he owned the place, confident, relaxed. His eyes never stopped glowing. You want the pack dead? He said. I want them dead too. You're one of them. I'm infected. That's different. I didn't choose this. Cain bit me 6 months ago, turned me, made me part of his little army, but I never wanted it. Then why not kill yourself? Claire asked. End it. Hartman smiled. Because I'm not ready to die, and because I can use this, the strength, the speed, the senses. It's useful. But Cain's vision was insane. Building an empire, converting an army, it was never going to work. So you killed him, I said. Hartman's smile widened. The fire at the Packard plant was convenient. Cain was badly burned, weak. I found him 3 days later, hiding in a sewer tunnel, still healing. I snapped his neck, watched him die. The pack's mine now. And you're here because? Because I don't want to lead them. I want to eliminate them, every single one, and I need your help to do it. I studied him, looking for the lie. But his heartbeat was steady, his breathing calm. Either he was telling the truth or he was very good at lying. Why should we trust you? Claire asked. You shouldn't, but you don't have a choice. There are 23 converted wolves left in Detroit. They're scattered, hiding, waiting for leadership. If I don't control them, someone else will. Someone worse. Worse than you? There's a female. Name's Vanessa Cross. She was a contract killer before Cain turned her. Now she's something else. Smart, patient, sadistic. She wants to take over the pack. Build what Cain started. If she succeeds, you'll never stop her. So you want us to help you kill her. And the others. All of them. Then you kill me. Clean slate. Detroit goes back to normal. Naoki, why would you agree to die? Hartman's expression darkened. Because this infection is hell. Every night I transform, every night I lose control. I've killed 17 people in 6 months, ripped them apart, ate them. I remember every second, every scream. I'm a monster, and I'm tired of it. The room was silent. Claire looked at me. I could see the question in her eyes. Do we trust him? I didn't trust him. But he was right. We didn't have a choice. Tell us where they are, I said. Hartman pulled out a phone, showed us a map. Red dots marked locations across the city. These are safe houses, places the pack uses during the day. Vanessa's at this one. He pointed to a dot in Mexican Town. Abandoned church on Verner Highway. She's got 5 wolves with her. The rest are spread out, isolated, easier targets. We hit them one by one, Claire said. No, we hit them all at once, coordinated strikes, take them by surprise before they can regroup. That requires manpower. We're 2 people. 3, Hartman said. I can help. I know their patterns, their weaknesses, and I can get close without raising suspicion. You'll betray us the first chance you get. Maybe. Or maybe I'm telling the truth. Either way, you need me. I hated that he was right. We spent the next 3 hours planning. Hartman gave us details, names, locations, habits. He knew everything about the pack, their routines, their relationships, their fears. There's a pair in Brightmoor, he said. Brothers, Thomas and Jeffrey Nash. They work construction during the day, transform at night, hunt together. They're dangerous but predictable. Hit them first. When? I asked. Tomorrow, dawn. When they're transitioning back, they'll be weak, vulnerable. What about Vanessa? We save her for last. She's the most dangerous. If we take out the others first, she'll panic, make mistakes. Claire didn't like it. I could tell. But the plan made sense. Fine, she said. But if you betray us, I'll put a silver bullet in your brain before you can blink." Hartman nodded. "Fair enough." He left an hour later, disappeared into the night. Claire and I prepared, loaded weapons, checked equipment. We didn't sleep. At 5 a.m. we drove to Brightmoor. The neighborhood was rough, abandoned houses, burned-out buildings, the kind of place where gunshots didn't bring police. The Nash brothers lived in a duplex on Fenkel Avenue. Lights were off, no movement. Hartman met us a block away. He was human now. No glowing eyes, no claws, just a man. "They're inside," he said. "Second floor, both of them. They transformed last night. Hunted near Palmer Park. Killed a jogger. They'll be exhausted." "You're sure?" I asked. "I can smell them." We approached the house. Claire covered the back. Hartman and I took the front. The door was unlocked. We entered quietly. Inside was filth. Trash everywhere, rotting food. The smell was overwhelming. Upstairs, I heard breathing. Heavy, labored. We climbed the stairs. Slow, silent. Military training. Every step calculated. The bedroom door was open. Inside, 2 men slept on mattresses on the floor. Both were naked, covered in blood, not their own. I raised my rifle, aimed at the first one's head. Hartman did the same with the second. We fired simultaneously. 2 shots, 2 kills. The brothers didn't wake up, didn't scream, just died. "One down," Hartman said. We moved to the next target. A female in Corktown. She lived alone, worked as a bartender. Hartman said she was young, newly converted, still learning control. We found her apartment above a closed restaurant. Hartman picked the lock. We entered. She was in the bedroom, still transformed. Fur matted with blood, claws digging into the mattress. She was dreaming, twitching, growling. Claire shot her through the eye. The body convulsed once, then stopped. 2 down, I said. We continued. Hit 3 more locations before noon. Each kill was clean, quick, no witnesses, no complications. By 2 p.m., we'd eliminated 8 wolves. 15 remained, including Vanessa. Hartman's phone buzzed. He checked it. His expression changed. "What?" Claire asked. "Message from Vanessa. She knows. She's calling a meeting. Tonight, midnight, at the old Michigan Central Station. All remaining pack members." "She's consolidating," I said. "Or setting a trap," Claire said. "Both," Hartman said. "She knows we're hunting. She's gathering her forces, making a stand. Then we hit them there. End it. The station's huge. 14 floors, multiple entrances. They'll have the high ground, home advantage. So we don't go inside. We burn it down, like the Packard plant." Hartman shook his head. "Fire won't work. The station's concrete and steel. It won't burn fast enough. They'll escape." "Then what?" Hartman thought for a moment. Then he smiled. "I have an idea. But you're not going to like it." He explained. The plan was insane. Suicidal. But it might work. "You're right," Claire said. "I don't like it. Do you have a better option?" She didn't. We spent the rest of the day preparing. Hartman made calls, contacted old military buddies, people who owed him favors. By 10 p.m. we had what we needed. Explosives, military grade, C4, enough to level a city block. We arrived at Michigan Central Station at 11 p.m. The building loomed against the night sky, empty windows like dead eyes. Graffiti covered the walls. The place had been abandoned since 1988, a monument to Detroit's decline. Perfect place for monsters. We set charges. Hartman placed them strategically. Support columns, load-bearing walls. The building was already unstable. The explosives would finish the job. "They're here," Hartman said. He pointed to the upper floors. I saw movement. Shadows against broken windows. Dozens of them. "More than 15, I said. She called in reinforcements. "Wolves from outside Detroit. This is bigger than we thought." "How many?" 40, maybe 50. Claire looked at me. "We can't fight that many." "We don't fight? We collapse the building? Bury them? And Hartman?" Hartman was already walking toward the entrance. I'm the bait. I go in. Keep them distracted. Give you time to finish the charges. You'll die, I said. That's the point. Remember? He didn't wait for a response. Just walked inside. Claire and I finished setting the charges. My hands were shaking, not from fear, from adrenaline. This was it. The end game. Inside the station I heard howling. Multiple voices. They were transforming. Getting ready. Hartman's running out of time, Claire said. 2 more minutes. We placed the last charge, connected the detonator, ran back to the truck. Through the broken windows I saw them. Dozens of wolves, surrounding Hartman. He was transformed too, fighting. But he was outnumbered. Vanessa emerged from the shadows. She was massive, larger than Kane, white fur, red eyes. She grabbed Hartman, lifted him, threw him through a wall. Now, Claire shouted. I pressed the detonator. The explosions were deafening. The building shook, columns collapsed, floors pancaked. The entire structure came down in a cloud of dust and debris. We watched it fall. 14 floors of concrete and steel crushing everything inside. When the dust settled, there was nothing left but rubble. No movement, no sound. Is it over? Claire asked. I didn't answer, because I saw something, in the debris. A hand, clawed, pushing through the concrete, then another, and another. They were digging out. Get back to the truck, I shouted. Claire and I ran. Behind us, I heard concrete shifting, rocks tumbling, claws scraping against debris. They were climbing out. The building collapse hadn't killed them. It had just slowed them down. We reached the truck. I threw it in reverse, floored it. In the rearview mirror, I saw them emerging, covered in dust and blood, but alive, moving. Vanessa was the first out. Her white fur was gray now, matted with concrete dust. She saw us, howled. The others answered. At least 20 of them, maybe more. Drive faster, Claire said. I was already doing 70 through city streets. Ran 2 red lights. Nearly hit a taxi. The wolves were following. On all fours now. Faster than the truck. One leaped, landed on the hood, claws punching through metal. Its face pressed against the windshield. Jaws snapping. Teeth cracking the glass. Claire shot through the windshield. The creature's head exploded. Its body slid off. We ran over it. 2 more jumped. One grabbed the driver's side mirror, ripped it off. The other landed on the roof. Started tearing through the metal. I swerved hard, left, right, trying to shake them. The one on the roof fell off. Tumbled into the street, but more were gaining. They were everywhere, running alongside. Jumping from rooftops, cutting through alleys. We can't outrun them, Claire said. She was right. We needed to fight. I saw an opening. An alley between 2 warehouses, narrow, maybe 8 feet wide. I turned hard. The truck barely fit, scraped both sides, metal screaming against brick. The wolves couldn't follow. Too wide. They'd have to go around. We burst out the other side, into an empty lot. I killed the engine. What are you doing? Claire asked. We make our stand here. I grabbed the shotgun. Claire grabbed the rifle. We got out, took positions behind the truck, waited. They came 30 seconds later, from both ends of the alley, surrounding us. 23 wolves, I counted. All that was left of the pack. Vanessa walked forward, still in wolf form. She was breathing hard, bleeding from multiple wounds, but her eyes burned with rage. You killed my family, she said. Her voice was distorted, guttural, but understandable. They killed mine first, I said. We're predators. It's what we do. You're prey. Accept it. I'm a soldier. I don't accept anything. She smiled, teeth stained red. Then die fighting. They charged. All of them, at once. I fired. The shotgun kicked. Tore through the closest wolf. It went down. I fired again. Another fell. Claire's rifle barked. Precise shots. Head. Heart. Each bullet found its mark, but there were too many. They reached us. Overwhelmed us. I felt claws, teeth, pain everywhere. One grabbed my arm, bit down. I felt bone crack. I jammed the shotgun into its mouth, pulled the trigger. Gore sprayed. Claire was on the ground. 3 wolves on top of her. She stabbed with her knife, again and again, blood pouring. I couldn't reach her. I was surrounded, fighting for my life. A wolf tackled me. We hit the concrete. It went for my throat. I blocked with my broken arm, screamed as teeth tore through muscle. Then I heard gunfire. Not from Claire, from somewhere else. Automatic weapons, multiple shooters. The wolves scattered, confused. A wolf next to me collapsed, head exploding, then another. They were being picked off. I looked up, saw figures on the rooftops, 6 of them, dressed in tactical gear, military-grade weapons, shooting with precision. The wolves tried to retreat, but there was nowhere to go. The shooters had the high ground. Every angle covered. Vanessa roared, charged toward one of the buildings, trying to reach the shooters. She leaped, cleared 20 feet. Grabbed the fire escape, started climbing. A sniper shot rang out. Vanessa's head snapped back. She fell, hit the pavement hard. Didn't move. The remaining wolves panicked, ran in all directions. The shooters cut them down, one by one, clinical, efficient. In less than 2 minutes, it was over. Every wolf dead. The lot was covered in bodies, blood pooling on the concrete. The shooters descended, rappelled from the rooftops, landed around us. They moved like soldiers, disciplined, coordinated. Their leader approached, removed her helmet. I recognized her immediately, Major Sarah Collins. She'd been my commanding officer in Afghanistan. I hadn't seen her in 3 years. "Brennan," she said, "you look like hell. What are you doing here?" "Saving your life. You're welcome." Claire stumbled over. She was bleeding from a dozen wounds, but alive. "Who are they?" she asked. "Military," I said. "Special operations." "Not anymore," Collins said. "We're private now. Contractors. We hunt things like this. Supernatural threats. Werewolves, vampires, demons. Whatever the government doesn't want to acknowledge." "The government knows?" Claire asked. "Of course they know. They've known for decades. But they can't go public, so they hire us. Keep it quiet. Clean up the messes." "Why didn't you help sooner?" I demanded. "My family died. Dozens of people died." Colin's expression hardened. "We didn't know about Detroit until 2 weeks ago. By then, you'd already started your war. We were tracking you, watching, waiting to see if you could handle it. You did better than expected. This was a test. Call it an evaluation. We're always looking for recruits, people with experience, skills. You and Donovan fit the profile. You want us to work for you? You're already doing the work. We just want to make it official. Resources, equipment, intel, support. Everything you need to do this right." I looked at Claire. She looked at me. We'd been through hell, lost everything, killed monsters, nearly died a dozen times. "What's the pay?" Claire asked. Collins smiled. "Enough to retire in 5 years, if you survive that long. And if we say no? Then you're on your own, no backup, no support. And the next time something supernatural shows up in Detroit, you'll be the only one standing between it and the city." I thought about my family, Rachel, Emma, Tyler. They died because I wasn't there. Because I was fighting someone else's war. Maybe this time I could fight a war that mattered. "I'm in," I said. Claire nodded. "Me too." Collins extended her hand. I shook it. Felt the grip, strong, confident. "Welcome to the unit," she said. "Your first assignment starts tomorrow. There's a nest of vampires in New Orleans. 40 confirmed, maybe more. You'll lead the assault." "What about Detroit?" Claire asked. "Are there more wolves?" "We'll monitor. If any survived, we'll find them. For now, the city's clean." I looked around the lot, at the bodies, the blood, the carnage we'd caused. Detroit wasn't clean. It would never be clean, but it was safer for now. Collins's team loaded the bodies into trucks. They'd be burned, evidence destroyed. The official story would be gang violence, drug war. Nothing unusual, just another night in Detroit. As we drove away, I saw the sun rising, orange light spreading across the city, buildings casting long shadows. Somewhere out there, monsters were hiding, waiting, planning their next move. But now, I wasn't alone. I had a team, resources, a purpose. I thought about Hartman, how he'd sacrificed himself, led the pack into a trap, died so we could win. Maybe he'd found peace. Or maybe he was still out there, crawling through the rubble, regenerating, surviving. I'd never know. But if he did survive, if he came back, I'd be ready, because I wasn't Marcus Brennan anymore. I wasn't just a soldier who lost his family. I was a hunter, and my war was just beginning. The unit's headquarters was in Washington, D.C., a nondescript building near the Pentagon. No signs, no markings, just another government facility that didn't exist on any map. Collins flew us there the next morning, private jet, no questions asked. Claire sat across from me. Her wounds were bandaged, face pale, but her eyes were alert, sharp. "You think we made the right choice?" she asked. I didn't answer immediately. I thought about Detroit, the bodies, the blood, the endless cycle of violence. "I think we didn't have a choice," I said finally. "There's always a choice." "Not for us, not anymore." The plane landed at 9 a.m. A car was waiting. Black SUV, tinted windows. We drove through security checkpoints, armed guards, biometric scanners. This wasn't some private contractor operation. This was government-funded, military precision. Inside, the building looked like any other office. Cubicles, computers, fluorescent lights. But the people were different. Hard eyes, combat-ready postures. Everyone here was a soldier, a hunter. Collins led us to a conference room. 5 others were already there. She introduced them. "This is Captain Jake Morrison, former Navy SEAL, expert in underwater operations. He handles aquatic threats, mermaids, sea serpents, anything with gills." Morrison nodded. He was built like a tank. Scars across his knuckles. Saltwater damage on his face. "Lieutenant Amy Chen, Army Ranger, weapons specialist. If it bleeds, she knows how to kill it." Chen was small, Asian, but her eyes were cold, professional. She carried herself like she'd killed 100 people and wouldn't lose sleep over it. "Sergeant Diego Martinez, Marine Corps, demolitions expert. He likes things that go boom." Martinez grinned. He was younger than the rest, maybe 25, but his hands were steady, confident. "Dr. Helen Park, combat medic. She's kept us alive more times than I can count." Park was in her 40s, gray hair, tired eyes, but her medical kit was pristine, professional. And finally, Father Michael O'Brien, Catholic priest, exorcist. He handles possessions, demons, anything that needs holy intervention. O'Brien wore a collar, but his arms were covered in tattoos, military insignias. He'd been a soldier before he was a priest. "These are your teammates," Collins said. "You'll train with them, live with them, fight with them. Trust is everything. Without it, you die." We spent the next 6 hours in briefings, learning about the unit's mission, their history, their enemies. The unit had been operating since 1952, started during the Cold War when the government discovered that supernatural threats were real. Vampires in Eastern Europe, werewolves in Russia, demons in Asia. They couldn't acknowledge it publicly, so they created a Black Ops division. Funded through classified budgets, operating outside official channels. Over the decades, the unit had eliminated thousands of threats: vampires, werewolves, witches, demons, ghosts, anything that posed a risk to national security. "We don't advertise," Collins said. "We don't take credit. We just eliminate the problem, quietly, efficiently. The public never knows. That's how we keep them safe." "What about collateral damage?" Claire asked. Collins' expression hardened. "We minimize it. But sometimes innocents die. It's unavoidable. The alternative is letting monsters run free." Which would you prefer? Claire didn't answer. That afternoon we began training. Combat drills, weapons proficiency, tactical operations. Everything was designed for supernatural warfare. Chen taught us about specialized ammunition, silver for werewolves, iron for fae, blessed bullets for demons, wood for vampires. Each creature had weaknesses. The key was knowing which to exploit. Martinez showed us explosives, holy water grenades, UV flashbangs for vampires, incendiary rounds for trolls. The unit had weaponized faith, science, magic, whatever worked. O'Brien taught us about spiritual warfare, protection rituals, exorcism protocols, how to recognize possession versus mental illness. The devil is real, he said. And he's patient. He'll wait years to claim a soul. Our job is to stop him. By evening, I was exhausted. Every muscle ached. My wounds from Detroit hadn't fully healed, but I pushed through. So did Claire. That night, Collins called us into her office. She had files spread across her desk, photographs, reports, intelligence. Your first mission, she said. New Orleans. There's a vampire nest in the French Quarter. 40 confirmed, maybe more. They've been operating for 6 months, killing tourists, locals, anyone who won't be missed quickly. Why haven't you dealt with them already? I asked. We tried. Sent a team 3 weeks ago? They didn't come back? All 4 of them, experienced hunters, dead. So you're sending us? I'm sending everyone. Full team deployment. Morrison, Chen, Martinez, Park, O'Brien, you and Donovan, 7 hunters, against 40 vampires. Bad odds, but it's all we have. What's the plan? Collins pulled up a map. French Quarter, streets marked in red. The nest is here, old mansion on Burgundy Street, abandoned since Hurricane Katrina. Perfect hiding spot. They sleep during the day, hunt at night. We hit them at noon, when they're weakest. How do we get inside? Front door, we breach, clear room by room, standard urban combat, except the enemy has super strength, super speed, and they drink blood. Sounds fun, Claire said dryly. Collins smiled. You'll leave at 600 tomorrow, wheels up. Gear will be provided. Any questions? I had a million questions, but I asked the one that mattered. What happened to the last team? How did they die? Collins's smile faded. We don't know. Their bodies were found 3 days later, drained, torn apart, but there were defensive wounds. They fought hard. It just wasn't enough. So what makes you think we'll do better? Because you've already survived the impossible. You killed an alpha werewolf, destroyed a pack. Most hunters don't survive their first encounter. You've survived a dozen. That makes you either very good or very lucky. I'm betting on good. We left her office. Claire and I walked to the barracks. Small rooms, military cots, nothing fancy. You scared? She asked. Terrified. Good. Means you're smart. I lay down, stared at the ceiling, thought about tomorrow, about New Orleans, about 40 vampires waiting to kill us. I thought about Rachel, Emma, Tyler, how they died, how I couldn't save them. This time would be different. This time I had training, resources, a team. This time, the monsters would be the ones who were afraid. I closed my eyes, tried to sleep, but I kept seeing yellow eyes in the darkness, hearing howls, smelling blood. The war wasn't over. It had just moved to a new battlefield, and I was ready. At 0600, we boarded the plane, full gear, weapons loaded. Chen brought a duffel bag full of wooden stakes. Morrison had crossbows. Martinez carried enough C4 to level a city block. O'Brien blessed our weapons, sprinkled holy water on each one, said prayers in Latin. I didn't believe in God, not after what I'd seen, but I appreciated the gesture. We landed in New Orleans at 10 a.m. The heat was oppressive, humidity thick enough to choke. The city smelled like sweat and decay. Mardi Gras beads hung from power lines. Tourists stumbled drunk through the streets. None of them knew what was coming. We drove to Burgundy Street. The mansion was exactly as described. 3 stories, Gothic architecture, Windows boarded, paint peeling. It looked haunted. It was. Collins gave the signal. We moved in. Morrison kicked the door. It splintered. We entered fast. Tactical formation, clearing corners, checking angles. The inside was dark. No electricity. Sunlight filtered through cracks in the boards. Dust everywhere. The smell of rot. And underneath it all, the smell of blood. Contact, Chen whispered. I saw them. Hanging from the ceiling, upside down, like bats. Dozens of them, pale skin, hollowed eyes. Fangs visible even in sleep. Light them up, Collins ordered. Martinez pulled the pins, tossed UV grenades. They exploded. Blinding light filled the room. The vampire shrieked, fell from the ceiling, skin burning, smoking. We opened fire, wooden bullets, blessed ammunition. The vampires scattered. Some died immediately, others attacked. Faster than anything human. One grabbed Morrison, bit into his neck. He roared, jammed a stake into its chest. It exploded into ash. Another came at me. I fired, missed. It tackled me, claws tearing at my vest. I shoved my pistol under its chin, fired, skull fragments everywhere. Claire was fighting three at once, spinning, stabbing, each movement precise, lethal. She was magnificent, but there were too many. They kept coming, from the walls, the floors, the shadows. Fall back, Collins shouted. We retreated to the entrance. Martinez set charges, covered our exit. Fire in the hole! The explosion was massive. The entire first floor collapsed. Vampires trapped inside, burning, screaming, but some escaped, burst through the windows, into the sunlight, their skin ignited. They ran anyway, desperate, dying. We picked them off, one by one, until there were none left. The mansion burned, black smoke rising into the New Orleans sky. Fire trucks would come eventually. But by then, we'd be gone. Collins counted bodies. 38 confirmed kills. 2 unaccounted for. They escaped, she said. Damn it! We'll find them, I said. Not today. We're pulling out. Mission's over. We left New Orleans that night. 2 vampires still alive somewhere in the city, but the nest was destroyed. The threat neutralized. On the plane, O'Brien said a prayer for the dead, for the vampires, for their victims, for us. I didn't pray. I just reloaded my weapons, because I knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. We spent 3 weeks in Washington, training, recovering, waiting for the next assignment. The 2 escaped vampires from New Orleans haunted Collins. She had teams searching the city, checking morgues, following blood bank thefts. Nothing. They're either dead or they've gone underground, Morrison said during one briefing. Vampires don't just disappear, Collins replied. They're out there, planning something. She was right to worry, but we had bigger problems. On December 28th, intel came through, a small town in Montana, population 800. 23 people had gone missing in 2 weeks. No bodies, no evidence, just gone. Sounds like our kind of problem, Chen said. We flew out that night. Montana in winter was brutal. Snow 3 feet deep, temperature below zero. The town was called Silver Creek. Mountain country, isolated, perfect hunting ground. The local sheriff met us at the town limits. His name was Dutch Reynolds, late 50s, weathered face. He looked exhausted. You federal? He asked. Something like that, Collins said. Tell us what's happening. Reynolds drove us to the station. Inside, he spread missing persons files across his desk. Men, women, children, all ages, all backgrounds. No pattern. Started 2 weeks ago, Reynolds said. First was Tommy Briggs, 16 years old. Didn't come home from school. We searched for 3 days, found nothing. Then Sarah Mitchell disappeared. Then the Carlson family. All 5 of them. Just vanished. Any witnesses? I asked. One. Old man named Frank Porter. Lives alone up in the mountains. Said he saw something. Wouldn't say what. Just kept saying, they came from the caves. Take us to him, Collins ordered. Porter's cabin was 20 miles outside town. We drove in 2 trucks. The roads were icy, treacherous. When we arrived, the cabin was dark. No smoke from the chimney. Morrison knocked. No answer. He tried the door, unlocked. We entered with weapons drawn. The cabin was freezing. Temperature inside matched outside. In the living room, we found Porter, sitting in a chair, frozen solid. His eyes were open, staring at the door, like he'd been waiting for something. "He's been dead for days," Park said. She examined the body. No wounds, no trauma. He just froze to death. "Why didn't he light a fire?" Martinez asked. "Because he was hiding," O'Brien said. He pointed at the windows. They were covered with crucifixes, salt lines on the floor, holy water in bottles. "He was protecting himself," Claire said. "From what?" I looked around, found something on the table. A journal. Porter's handwriting. I read it aloud. December 14th. They came down from the mountains tonight. I heard them scratching at the walls. They want inside. But the salt holds them. The crosses keep them away. I don't know how much longer I can last. December 18th. The town is cursed. Everyone who disappears goes to the caves. I know because I followed one. Saw them drag Billy Henderson into the darkness. He was screaming. They were laughing. December 22nd. I'm the last one. Everyone else is either dead or converted. The sheriff doesn't believe me. No one believes me. But I've seen them. Pale skin, red eyes, fangs like knives. They're not human. They're demons. I stopped reading, looked at Collins. Vampires. In Montana? Morrison said. That's not their usual territory. Maybe they migrated, Jen suggested. After New Orleans. Collins' face went pale. The 2 that escaped? They came here. Started a new nest. How could 2 vampires take 23 people in 2 weeks? Claire asked. They converted them, O'Brien said. Every victim becomes a vampire. Exponential growth. 2 becomes 4. 4 becomes 8. By now, they could have an army. Reynolds had followed us inside. He heard everything. His face was white. What the hell are you people talking about? Vampires, Collins said. Your town is infested with vampires. Reynolds laughed, nervous, desperate. That's insane. Vampires aren't real. Porter's journal says otherwise. So do 23 missing people. We can debate reality or we can save your town. Your choice. Reynolds stopped laughing, looked at the frozen corpse, at the crucifixes, at our weapons. What do you need? He asked. Sunlight, Collins said, and a lot of wood. We spent the rest of the day preparing. Collins coordinated with the town, evacuated civilians to the church, reinforced the building with salt, holy water, crosses. Made it a sanctuary. Then we went hunting. Porter's journal mentioned caves, mountains north of town. We drove as far as the roads allowed, then hiked. The snow was waist deep. The cold cut through our gear, but we pushed forward. Martinez carried explosives. Morrison had UV floodlights. Chen brought flamethrowers. We were ready for war. We found the caves 2 hours later. Massive opening in the rock face. Dark, silent. Tracks leading inside. Human footprints, bare feet. Dozens of them. They're in there, I said. Collins checked her watch. 4 hours until sunset. We go in now, clear the caves before they wake up. We entered. The darkness swallowed us. Flashlights barely penetrated. The tunnel went deep, sloping downward. The air grew colder, wetter. I could hear water dripping, and something else, breathing, slow, rhythmic. We rounded a corner. The tunnel opened into a cavern, and we saw them. Vampires, hanging from the ceiling, just like New Orleans, but more. 50. Maybe 100, all sleeping, waiting for night. Light them up, Collins whispered. Martinez set UV floodlights. Morrison activated them. Brilliant white light filled the cavern. The vampires shrieked, fell from the ceiling, skin burning, smoking. We opened fire, wooden stakes, blessed bullets. The vampires died by the dozens, but some were faster, stronger. They attacked. One grabbed O'Brien, dragged him into the shadows. We heard him scream, then silence. "O'Brien!" Collins shouted. Morrison ran after him, disappeared into the darkness. We heard gunfire, then nothing. "Fall back," Collins ordered. We retreated to the tunnel. The vampires followed, pouring out of the cavern, a wave of pale flesh and fangs. Martinez set charges. "Run!" We ran, out of the caves into the snow. Behind us, the mountain exploded, rock and ice collapsing, the caves sealed, everything inside buried. We stood there, gasping, bleeding, counting bodies. O'Brien was gone. Morrison was gone. 2 hunters, lost in the darkness. "We have to go back," Claire said. "There's nothing to go back to," Collins said. Her voice was cold, empty. "They're dead. We move on. We don't leave people behind. They're not people anymore, they're casualties. This is war. People die." Claire looked like she wanted to punch Collins, but she didn't. She just turned and walked away. That night we returned to Silver Creek. The town was empty, everyone hiding in the church. Reynolds met us at the door. "Did you kill them?" he asked. "Most of them," Collins said, "but some escaped. They'll come tonight, looking for food, for revenge. Then we fight." Collins shook her head. "You evacuate. Get your people out of here. We'll hold them off. Buy you time." "This is my town." "Then save it. Get them out." Reynolds hesitated, then nodded. He organized the evacuation. Buses, cars, every vehicle in town. By 10 p.m., the civilians were gone. Only we remained. 5 hunters against an unknown number of vampires. "Bad odds," Chen said. "We've had worse," Martinez replied. "We fortified the church, boarded windows, reinforced doors, set traps, holy water, UV lights, crosses everywhere. Then we waited. Midnight came, we heard them. Footsteps in the snow, whispers, laughter. They surrounded the church. Dozens of them, maybe more. 'Here we go,' Collins said. The first vampire hit the door. It exploded inward. We opened fire. The vampire fell. Another took its place, then another. They poured in, overwhelming us. I fired until my magazine was empty, switched to the knife, stabbed, slashed, blood everywhere. Claire fought beside me, back to back. We moved together, fluid, synchronized, years of combat training. Instinct. A vampire grabbed my arm, bit down. I felt teeth pierce skin, inject venom, the infection spreading. Not again. I jammed the knife into its eye. It released me, fell. I stumbled. Dizzy. The venom was fast. Stronger than werewolf infection. "Marcus!" Claire caught me, injected something into my arm. Wolfsbane, silver nitrate, emergency treatment. The pain was instant, fire in my veins, but the venom stopped spreading, neutralized. "Stay with me," Claire said. I nodded, stood, kept fighting. Martinez detonated explosives. The front wall collapsed, burying vampires, sealing the entrance. But they came through the windows, the roof, the floor, everywhere. Chen was down, throat torn open. Blood pooling. Martinez was fighting 3 at once. He pulled a grenade, smiled. "See you in hell." The explosion took him and 5 vampires. The church shook, ceiling cracking. "We need to leave," Collins shouted. We ran, out the back, into the snow. Behind us, the church burned. Vampires trapped inside, screaming. But some followed, fast, relentless. I turned, fired, empty. No more bullets, no more stakes, just the knife. A vampire lunged. I met it head on. We collided, fell into the snow. It bit my shoulder. I stabbed its chest. It didn't die, just laughed. Then its head exploded. Claire's rifle, blessed bullets. She pulled me up. "Move!" We ran, through the forest. The vampires followed, hunting. We reached a clearing, surrounded, nowhere left to run. Collins checked her weapon. 1 bullet left. She looked at us. "It's been an honor." "Wait," I said. I looked east. The sky was lightening. Dawn was coming. Hold them off, just a few more minutes. We formed a circle. Backs together, weapons ready. The vampires closed in, slowly, savoring the kill. Then the sun broke the horizon, golden light spilling across the snow. The vampires shrieked, skin igniting. They ran, back to the darkness. But many were too slow. The sunlight caught them. They burned, turned to ash. In 30 seconds it was over. Every vampire dead. Only we remained. Collins collapsed, bleeding from a dozen wounds. We won. At what cost? Claire asked. We'd lost 3 hunters. O'Brien, Morrison, Chen, Martinez. 4 lives, for 1 town. I looked at the burning church, at the ash scattered across the snow, at my teammates' faces, exhausted, broken. This was the war. This was what Collins meant. People died, and we moved on. But as we walked back to the truck, I made a promise. To Rachel, to Emma, to Tyler, to O'Brien and Morrison and Chen and Martinez. I'd keep fighting. Until every monster was dead. Until every victim was avenged. No matter the cost. We returned to Washington with 3 body bags. O'Brien, Morrison, Chen. Collins filed the reports, classified. Their families would be told they died in training accidents. Standard cover story. Martinez survived. Barely. Park pulled shrapnel from his chest for 6 hours. He'd live, but he'd never be the same. The unit replaced our losses within a week. New hunters, new faces. But they weren't the same. O'Brien had been with Collins for 8 years. Morrison for 6. Chen for 4. You can't replace that kind of experience. Claire and I trained the replacements, taught them what we'd learned, how to fight vampires, how to kill werewolves, how to survive when everything goes wrong. But I could see it in their eyes. The doubt. The fear. They weren't ready, and some of them would die before they were. On January 15th, Collins called us into her office. She looked worse than usual, dark circles under her eyes, coffee cup shaking in her hand. We have a problem, she said. A big one. She pulled up satellite imagery. Detroit, my city. Red markers covered the map, dozens of them. What am I looking at? I asked. Werewolf activity. It started 3 weeks ago. Missing persons. Animal attacks. The pattern's identical to what you dealt with last year. My blood went cold. We killed them all. You killed Kane's pack. But werewolves are territorial. When a pack dies, others move in, fill the power vacuum. It's happening in Detroit. A new pack. Bigger than before. Well, how many? We've confirmed 15, but there could be more. They're organized, careful, not making the same mistakes Kane made. Who's leading them? Claire asked. Collins pulled up a photograph. A man, mid-40s, military haircut, cold eyes. I recognized him immediately. Captain Derek Hartman, I said. He survived the building collapse, been rebuilding ever since. He's converting aggressively, building an army, and he's targeting specific people, veterans, law enforcement. People with combat training. Smart, Claire said. He's building a military force. Exactly, and he's not just staying in Detroit. We've tracked movement to Chicago, Cleveland, Milwaukee. He's expanding, creating satellite packs. If we don't stop him now, he'll control the entire Midwest within a year. I thought about Hartman, how he'd offered to help us, how he'd led the pack into the Michigan Central Station, how he'd supposedly died. It had all been a lie, a performance. He'd used us to eliminate his competition, Kane, Vanessa, the old pack. Then he'd taken over. He played us, I said. He played everyone, Collins replied. He's smart, patient, dangerous, and he knows how we operate. He knows our tactics, our weapons, our weaknesses. So how do we stop him? Collins leaned back, rubbed her temples. We go back to Detroit. We find him, and we end this, permanently. Just us? No, full team deployment. 10 hunters, maximum firepower. We're not taking chances this time. We deployed on January 18th. Detroit looked the same. Gray, cold, dying. But underneath, something was growing. Something dark. Collins had rented a warehouse in River Rouge, made it our base of operations, computers, weapons, surveillance equipment. Everything we needed. Hartman's operating out of multiple locations, she said. We've identified 3 safe houses. Here, here, and here. She marked them on the map. We hit all 3 simultaneously. Eliminate the pack before they can regroup. What about Hartman? I asked. He's priority 1. If we get a shot, we take it. We spent 2 days preparing, scouting locations, mapping escape routes, gathering intel. Hartman's pack was disciplined. They didn't hunt randomly. They targeted specific victims. Always alone, always isolated, always disappeared without a trace. Professional. On January 20th, we executed. 3 teams, 3 locations. Simultaneous strikes at dawn. I led Team 1. Claire. 2 new hunters named Briggs and Foster. We hit a house in Brightmoor. Abandoned, boarded windows. Perfect den. We breached at 6 a.m. Dawn was breaking. The wolves would be transitioning. Vulnerable. Inside, we found 4 of them. Sleeping on the floor, still in wolf form, breathing heavy. Exhausted from the night's hunt, we eliminated them quickly. Silver bullets, head shots. They never woke up. Team 2 reported similar results. 3 kills, no casualties. Team 3 had problems. The safe house was empty. No wolves, no evidence, just an abandoned building. It's a trap, Collins said over comms. Pull out, now. But it was too late. The building exploded. Team 3 was inside, all 4 hunters, dead instantly. All teams fall back to base, Collins ordered. We retreated, but on the drive back, we hit roadblocks. Cars positioned across the street, blocking our path. Deliberate, planned. Ambush! Claire shouted. They came from the buildings, the alleys, the rooftops. Wolves, dozens of them, all transformed, all attacking at once. I floored the accelerator, smashed through the roadblock, metal screaming, airbags deploying. But we broke through, kept driving. Behind us I heard gunfire, screams. Team 2 was engaged, fighting for their lives. We reached the warehouse. Collins was waiting, face pale. We're compromised. Hartman knew we were coming. He set this whole thing up. How? Briggs asked. Someone talked, or he's been watching us. Either way, we need to leave. Now. We grabbed essential equipment, destroyed the rest, burned the warehouse, left no trace. As we drove away, I saw them. On the rooftops, watching, yellow eyes gleaming in the dawn light. Hartman's pack. They weren't attacking, just watching, letting us go. Because Hartman wanted us to know. He was in control. He was always in control. We regrouped at a motel in Ann Arbor, counted our losses. 7 hunters dead, 3 teams destroyed. The mission was a disaster. We're done, Collins said. I'm pulling us out. We can't win this. No, I said. We're not done. Marcus, he killed my family. He killed our teams. He's building an army. If we don't stop him, no one will. We tried. We failed. That's war. Sometimes you lose. Not this time. I stood up, grabbed my gear. I'm going back, alone. Anyone who wants to come with me, fine. Anyone who doesn't, I understand. Claire stood. I'm with you. Briggs and Foster exchanged glances. Then they stood too. Us too. Collins watched us, jaw tight. Then she sighed. You're all idiots, but you're my idiots. Fine, we do this, but we do it my way. No more frontal assaults, no more predictable tactics. We play his game. We think like him. We become what he is. Monsters? Claire asked. Hunters, Collins corrected. The best hunters in the world. Over the next week, we changed our approach. No more safe houses. We stayed mobile. No more patterns. We struck randomly, unpredictably. We hunted Hartman's pack the way they hunted humans. Isolated targets, quick kills, no mercy. We eliminated 12 wolves in 7 days. Each kill surgical, clean. No survivors to report back. Hartman felt it. I knew he did. His army was shrinking. his control slipping. On January 28th, we got a break. One of Hartman's wolves was captured. Not by us, by Detroit PD. They'd caught him mid-transformation, arrested him for murder. We intercepted the transport, took custody, brought him to a secure location. Collins interrogated him. He didn't want to talk. So she made him talk. I won't describe the methods, but they worked. He told us everything, Hartman's location, his plans, his endgame. He's converting politicians, the wolf said through broken teeth. City council, police chiefs, judges. He's taking over Detroit from the inside. In 6 months, he'll control everything. Police, government, media. And no one will be able to stop him. Where is he now? Collins demanded. The old Fisher building, top floor. He's meeting with his lieutenants tonight, planning the final phase. Collins looked at me. This is it. Our only shot. Then we take it. We hit the Fisher building at midnight. 10 hunters. Full assault. We'd called in reinforcements from other units. This wasn't just our fight anymore. This was national security. We breached the top floor, found them in a conference room. Hartman and 8 of his lieutenants, all in human form, dressed in suits, looking like businessmen. Hartman smiled when he saw us. Marcus Brennan, right on time. It's over, Hartman. Is it? Look around. I've already won. Detroit is mine. The government can't stop me. You can't stop me. I'm evolution, the future. You're a monster. We're all monsters, Marcus. Some of us just admit it. He transformed. Fast. Faster than I'd ever seen. His lieutenants followed. The room erupted in violence. We opened fire. Silver bullets. Blessed rounds. But they were ready. They scattered. Used the furniture as cover. Flanked us. Foster went down first, throat torn out. Then Briggs, disemboweled. Screaming. I fought my way toward Hartman. Fired. Missed. He was too fast. Too strong. He grabbed me. Lifted me off the ground. Slammed me into a wall. Ribs cracked. Lung collapsed. I couldn't breathe. You should have joined me, Hartman said. We could have ruled together. Built something great. But you chose the losing side. He raised his claws, going for my throat. Then Claire shot him, point blank, silver bullet through the spine. Hartman dropped me, fell to his knees, paralyzed. Now, Marcus, she shouted. I grabbed my knife, the same knife I'd used to kill my first werewolf, jammed it into Hartman's chest, twisted, found his heart. He looked at me, yellow eyes fading. You think this ends with me? There are others, stronger, smarter. They'll come for you. And they'll win. Maybe. But you won't be there to see it. I twisted the knife again. Hartman's eyes went dark. He collapsed, dead. Around us, his lieutenants fell. Collins and the others had eliminated them. The room was silent, filled with bodies, blood. Ash. Is it over? Claire asked. I looked at Hartman's corpse, at the city lights through the broken windows, at my reflection in the glass, scarred, broken, but still standing. For now, I said. We burned Hartman's body, all of them. No trace, no evidence. Detroit PD found the Fisher building in flames the next morning. Called it arson. Gang violence, the usual excuses. No one mentioned the bodies we'd removed. No one asked questions. Collins filed her report. Mission successful. Threat neutralized. The unit moved on to the next crisis. A demon possession in Seattle. A witch coven in Boston. The work never stopped. But I couldn't move on. Not yet. Detroit was damaged. Hartman had converted at least 30 people before we stopped him. Most were dead, but some had escaped. Gone underground, waiting. I requested permission to stay. Hunt down the survivors. Collins approved. Gave me 2 weeks. Claire volunteered to stay with me. We spent those weeks cleaning up, tracking leads, following rumors. We found 6 wolves hiding throughout the city, eliminated them quietly. No witnesses, no complications. On February 10th, we found the last one. A woman named Julia Banks. She'd been a nurse before Hartman turned her. Now she was hiding in an abandoned hospital on the east side. We entered at dawn. She was in the basement, still in wolf form, wounded, starving. She'd been hiding for 3 weeks, living on rats and stray dogs. When she saw us, she didn't attack. She just collapsed, started crying. The sound was horrible. Animal and human at the same time. "Please," she said. Her voice was distorted, barely intelligible. "Kill me. I don't want to be this anymore." Claire raised her rifle, aimed at the woman's head. "Wait," I said. "Marcus, she's infected. There's no cure. I survived werewolf infection, with treatment. That was different. You were bitten. She was fully converted. The infection's permanent." I looked at Julia, at her yellow eyes, her claws, her fur. But underneath I could see the human, the person she used to be. Terrified, desperate, wanting to die. I thought about Hartman. How he'd asked to be killed. How he'd seen himself as a monster. How he'd been right. But Julia was different. She hadn't chosen this. She'd been a victim, just like Rachel, just like Emma and Tyler. "There has to be another way," I said. Claire lowered her weapon. "You know there isn't." "Then we find one. We bring her to Park, let her study the infection. Maybe there's a cure, maybe we can save her. And if we can't, then we kill her, humanely, not like this." Claire hesitated, then nodded. "Your call." We sedated Julia, transported her back to Washington. Park set up a containment facility, medical equipment, observation cameras. She ran tests for 3 days. On the 3rd day, she called us into her lab. Julia was strapped to a table, still in wolf form, but her eyes were different, more human, more aware. "I've identified the infection vector," Park said. "It's a virus, highly aggressive. It rewrites DNA at the cellular level. Transforms human tissue into something else, something stronger, faster, but also unstable." "Can you cure it?" I asked. "No. The transformation is permanent. Once the DNA is rewritten, there's no reversing it. But I can suppress it, keep her in human form, block the transformation." "How?" "Gene therapy, combined with chemical suppressants. She'd need injections every 12 hours for the rest of her life, and she'd still have enhanced strength, enhanced senses. The animal would always be there, just controlled." "Would she be safe? Around civilians?" Park hesitated. "I don't know. The therapy is experimental. It could fail. She could transform, kill people. It's a risk." I looked at Julia. She was watching me, listening, understanding every word. "What do you want?" I asked her. She didn't answer immediately. When she did, her voice was clearer, more human. "I want to live, but not like this, not as a monster. If you can help me, I'll do whatever it takes. Follow whatever rules, take whatever treatments, just let me be human again." I looked at Claire, at Park, at Collins, who'd been observing from the doorway. "Your call, Brennan," Collins said. "But if she kills anyone, it's on you." I thought about all the people who died, all the monsters we'd killed, all the lives destroyed by this war. Maybe we could save one, just one. "Do it," I said. "Start the treatments." Park began immediately. Gene therapy, injections, chemical suppressants. Julia screamed through most of it. The pain was overwhelming, but she endured, because she wanted to live. After 72 hours, she transformed back, human form, naked, shaking, but human. Park ran tests, checked vitals, DNA scans. "It's working. The virus is suppressed. She's stable." Julia looked at her hands, human hands. She started crying, real tears. Human tears. "Thank you," she whispered. But the celebration was short-lived. Because that night, we got a call from Detroit, Sheriff Reynolds in Montana. "It's happening again," he said. His voice was panicked, desperate. "They're back, the vampires, more than before. The whole town is infected, everyone, we need help." Collins checked the data. Montana, Silver Creek, 73 missing persons in 2 weeks, the entire population. "It's a nest," she said. Bigger than anything we've seen. They've converted the entire town. How is that possible? Claire asked. We killed them all. We killed most of them. Some escaped, reproduced, built a new nest, and now they've taken over. Then we go back, finish the job. Collins shook her head. It's too big. 73 vampires, we don't have the resources. We'd need an army. Then we get an army, I said. Call every unit, every hunter, everyone available. We end this, now. Collins made the calls. Within 24 hours, we had 30 hunters, fully armed, ready for war. We deployed to Montana on February 16th. Silver Creek looked different. The streets were empty, buildings dark, no signs of life. But we could feel them, watching, waiting. They know we're here, Morrison's replacement said. His name was Jackson, former Delta Force. Good soldier, but untested. Let them know, Collins said. We're not hiding. We set up in the town square, created a perimeter, UV floodlights, holy water, blessed ammunition. This time, we were ready. They came at dusk. All of them, 73 vampires, men, women, children, all transformed, all hungry. We opened fire. The square lit up, gunfire, screams, explosions. The vampires fell by the dozens, but they kept coming, overwhelming our positions. Jackson went down first, throat torn out, then 3 others ripped apart. Fall back to the church, Collins ordered. We retreated, fighting every step. The vampires followed, relentless, unstoppable. Inside the church, we barricaded the doors, set explosives, prepared for the final stand. This is it, Claire said. We're not walking out of here. I looked at her, at the other hunters, at the crosses on the walls. Maybe we don't have to. I remembered Julia, how Park had suppressed the infection, changed her DNA, made her human again. What if we could cure them? I asked. Turn them back? There's no cure for vampirism, Park said. It's a different virus, more aggressive than lycanthropy. But you said you could suppress infections. Block transformations. What if we weaponize that? Create an airborne agent, spread it through the town, suppress every vampire at once. Park thought for a moment. Theoretically possible, but I'd need time, equipment, a lab. You have 6 hours until dawn. That's when we make our stand. Can you do it? I'll try. Park worked through the night, mixing chemicals, synthesizing compounds. The rest of us held the perimeter. The vampires attacked every hour, testing our defenses, probing for weaknesses. We lost 2 more hunters, then 3. Our ammunition was running low, our supplies depleted. At 5 a.m., Park emerged from the basement. She held a canister, small, silver, pressurized. It's done, she said. This will suppress the vampire virus, force them back to human form. But it's untested. I don't know if it'll work. Only one way to find out, Collins said. At dawn, we opened the church doors. The vampires were waiting, surrounding us, ready for the final assault. I stepped forward, held up the canister. You don't have to die. There's another way. One vampire stepped forward, young, maybe 16. He'd been one of Reynolds' deputies. What way? He asked. This will cure you, make you human again. All you have to do is breathe it in. Why should we trust you? Because the alternative is we kill all of you, and ourselves in the process. Nobody wins. But this way, everyone lives. The vampires conferred, whispered, argued. Finally, the young one nodded. Do it. I activated the canister. White gas hissed out, spread across the square. The vampires breathed it in. One by one, they collapsed, convulsing, screaming. Then they stopped moving, just lay there, silent. Did it work? Claire asked. Park checked the closest one, took readings. Vitals are stable. The virus is suppressed. They're human again. Over the next hour, they woke up, confused, disoriented, but human. The infection was gone. They remembered everything, the killing, the feeding, the horror. Some couldn't handle it, killed themselves. Others just cried, broken by what they'd become, but most survived. Reynolds organized medical care, counseling, support. Silver Creek would recover, eventually. We left that afternoon, mission complete, threat neutralized, no casualties. For once, we'd won without losing anyone. On the flight back, Collins approached me. "What you did back there, with the cure, that was good thinking." Park did the work, but you had the idea. You saw a solution no one else did. That's valuable. That's leadership. I'm not a leader. You are now. I'm promoting you. Field commander. You'll lead operations, train new hunters, build teams. Can you handle that? I thought about Rachel, Emma, Tyler, about O'Brien and Morrison and Chen and Martinez, about Julia and the people of Silver Creek. "Yeah," I said, "I can handle it." 3 months passed. I trained 15 new hunters. Taught them everything I'd learned. How to identify threats, how to kill efficiently, how to survive. Some of them were good, natural fighters. They'd last years. Others were weak. They'd die on their first mission. I couldn't save them all. I just tried to give them a fighting chance. Claire became my second in command. We ran operations across the country, werewolf packs in Oregon, vampire nests in Florida, a demon possession in Kansas. We won more than we lost. But every victory cost something. Julia recovered. The gene therapy worked. She stayed human, controlled. Park kept her under observation, ran tests, refined the treatment. Eventually, she developed a permanent cure, 1 injection. The infection gone forever. Julia was the first success. But there would be others. We started using the cure in the field, converting enemies instead of killing them. It wasn't always possible. Some creatures were too far gone, too violent. But when it worked, it saved lives. On May 3rd, we got a call. Priority 1. Collins summoned the entire unit, every available hunter. 50 of us total. "We have a situation," she said. "Chicago. There's a supernatural convention happening. Vampires, werewolves, demons, witches. All gathering in one location. Hundreds of them." "Why?" I asked. "Peace talks. They're forming an alliance, uniting against us, against humanity. If they succeed, we're outnumbered, outgunned. We lose. So we stop them." "How?" "There's hundreds of them. We can't kill them all. And if we attack, we prove their point, that humans are the enemy. We push them closer together." "Then what do you suggest?" Collins pulled up a photograph. A woman, mid-30s, beautiful, black hair, red dress, but her eyes were wrong, too bright, too knowing. "Her name is Lilith Crane. She's organizing the convention, former human. Converted 5 years ago, but not by accident. She chose it, researched it. Found a vampire willing to turn her. Now she's one of the most powerful in North America. What does she want? Control, power. She believes supernaturals are superior to humans, that we're prey, food. She wants to unite all the species, create a unified force, overthrow human governments, take over. That's insane. That's the plan. And she's convincing, charismatic. She's already recruited dozens of factions. If the convention succeeds, she'll have an army. So we kill her." "Cut off the head." Collins shook her head. "We tried. Sent 3 assassination teams, all failed. She has security, magic wards, bodyguards. She's untouchable." "Then how do we stop her?" "We infiltrate, send someone inside, someone she doesn't know, someone who can get close, and when the moment's right, they eliminate her." Everyone looked at me. I was the obvious choice, but I shook my head. "I'm too recognizable. Hartman's pack knew me. Word spreads. Someone will recognize me." "Then who?" Collins asked. Claire stepped forward. "Me. You're just as known as Brennan." "Not if I'm converted. If I'm a vampire, I blend in. I'm one of them." The room went silent. Everyone stared at her. She was serious. "Absolutely not," I said. "That's suicide. It's the only way. We have the cure now. I get converted. Infiltrate the convention. Kill Lilith. Then Park cures me. I come back human. The conversion could kill you. The cure might not work. You could be stuck as a vampire forever. I'm willing to take that risk. I'm not. Claire grabbed my arm, pulled me aside, lowered her voice. Marcus, this is bigger than us, bigger than Detroit. If Lilith succeeds, millions die. You know that. We have to stop her, and this is the only way. I wanted to argue, to find another solution, but she was right. This was the mission. This was the war. Fine, I said, but I'm coming with you, as backup. You can't. If you're there, you'll blow my cover. Then I'll stay outside, close enough to help if things go wrong. Claire nodded. Deal. We had 1 week to prepare. Park developed a modified vampire virus, controlled infection. It would convert Claire, but slowly, giving her time to adjust, to learn control. On May 10th, we executed. Park injected Claire with the virus. She screamed, convulsed. Her body temperature spiked. 110, 115. She should have died, but she didn't. After 6 hours, the transformation completed. Claire opened her eyes. They glowed red. Her skin was pale, her canines extended. She was a vampire. How do you feel? Park asked. Claire tested her new body, flexed her hands, her strength. Different, stronger, faster, and hungry. God, I'm so hungry. That's normal, the bloodlust. You need to feed. On what? Park handed her a blood bag. Medical supply. This will sustain you, but it won't satisfy you. The craving for human blood will be constant. You'll have to fight it. Every second. Claire drank. The blood bag emptied in seconds. She wanted more. I could see it in her eyes. The predator. The monster. Claire, look at me, I said. She turned. Focused. Her eyes were still red. But recognition flickered. I'm still me, she said. I can control this. Good, because you leave tomorrow. The convention was at the Drake Hotel in Chicago. 5-star luxury. Lilith had rented the entire building. Security everywhere. Magic wards on every entrance. No humans allowed. Claire arrived at 8 p.m. on May 11th. She wore a black dress, looked like she belonged. The guards checked her credentials, scanned for weapons, searched for trackers, found nothing. She was clean. Inside, the hotel was packed. Vampires, werewolves, demons, witches, all mingling, networking, forming alliances. It was surreal. Monsters acting civilized, like a corporate conference. Claire moved through the crowd, listening, observing. She found Lilith on the top floor, penthouse suite, surrounded by her inner circle. 20 vampires, all older, more powerful. Getting close would be impossible, unless she had an invitation. Claire approached a group of vampires near the bar, started a conversation, mentioned she'd come from Detroit, that she'd survived the war with a unit, that she wanted revenge. One of them, a male named Victor, seemed interested. You fought the hunters? I killed 3 of them, Claire lied. Before I was forced to flee, but now I'm back, ready to fight. If Lilith needs soldiers, I'm volunteering. Victor studied her. You're young, newly converted. What makes you think you're worthy? Because I know how they think. I know their tactics. I can help you win. Victor smiled. Follow me. He led her to the penthouse. Introduced her to Lilith. The vampire queen was exactly as her photograph suggested. Beautiful, commanding, dangerous. Victor tells me you're a hunter-killer, Lilith said. Her voice was smooth, hypnotic. I am, Claire replied. Prove it. Tell me everything you know about the unit, their operations, their weaknesses. Claire talked for an hour, gave false information mixed with truth. Enough to seem credible, enough to earn trust. Lilith listened, occasionally asked questions, tested Claire's knowledge. Finally, she nodded. You're either a spy or you're legitimate. We'll find out which. She gestured. 2 vampires grabbed Claire, held her down. A third vampire approached. Female, ancient. Her eyes glowed purple. "This is Morgana," Lilith said. "She's a witch. She can read minds, see memories. If you're lying, she'll know, and then we'll kill you." Slowly. Morgana placed her hands on Claire's head. Claire screamed. I heard it through the earpiece she'd hidden. Microscopic, undetectable. "She's in trouble," I said. We were positioned 3 blocks away. Monitoring, ready to extract. "Hold position," Collins ordered. "Give her time." Morgana searched Claire's mind, saw her memories, the war in Detroit, the killings, the blood. But Park had prepared for this. She'd implanted false memories, layered them over the real ones. Claire appeared to be exactly what she claimed, a converted vampire seeking revenge. Morgana released her. "She's telling the truth." Lilith smiled. "Welcome to the revolution, Claire. You're with us now." Over the next 2 days, Claire integrated. Attended meetings, listened to plans. Lilith was organizing an attack. Coordinated strikes against unit facilities, Washington, New York, Los Angeles, all at once. Overwhelming force. They'd eliminate the hunters in a single night. The date was set. May 20th. 1 week away. Claire reported everything. We prepared countermeasures, reinforced security, evacuated non-essential personnel. But we knew it wouldn't be enough. Lilith had hundreds of supernaturals. We had 50 hunters. The math didn't work. "We have to kill her before the attack," I said. "It's our only option." "Claire's working on it," Collins replied. "She's getting close, earning trust. Soon she'll have access." On May 16th, Lilith invited Claire to a private meeting, just the 2 of them. Penthouse suite, no guards. "This is it," Claire said through the earpiece. "I'm going in." "Be careful," I said. Inside, Lilith poured wine, blood infused. They drank, talked. Lilith shared her vision. A world ruled by supernaturals. Humans as livestock. Farms, breeding programs, endless food supply. "It's the natural order," Lilith said. "Predator and prey. We're the predators. We should rule." "What if humans fight back?" Claire asked. "They will. That's why we eliminate the unit first. Without them, humans are defenseless. We win in a month, maybe less." Claire nodded, pretended to agree. Then she reached into her purse, pulled out a wooden stake. Blessed, silver-tipped. Lilith saw it. Smiled. "I knew you were a spy." She moved fast, grabbed Claire's wrist, twisted. Bones cracked. The stake fell. "Did you really think I'd let a stranger get this close without insurance?" Lilith said. "Morgana's spell only works on recent memories. I had her dig deeper, saw everything, your real past, your partnership with Brennan, your plan." She threw Claire across the room. Claire hit the wall, cracked plaster, fell to the floor. "You're brave," Lilith said. "I respect that. But you're also foolish, and now you die." She advanced, claws extended, going for Claire's heart. I burst through the window, 3 stories up, shattered glass everywhere, hit Lilith mid-stride. We tumbled, rolled across the floor. "Marcus!" Claire shouted. I didn't answer, just fought. Lilith was strong, faster than any vampire I'd encountered. She grabbed my throat, lifted me, slammed me into the ceiling. Then, the floor. Everything went dark for a second. When I opened my eyes, she was standing over me. The famous Marcus Brennan, the hunter who killed Kane, who destroyed Hartman. "You're a legend, and legends die hard." She raised her claws, going for my throat. Claire tackled her. They crashed through the door, into the hallway. Alarms blared. Vampires poured out of rooms, dozens of them. "We need to go," I shouted. Claire grabbed the stake, jammed it into Lilith's chest. The vampire queen screamed, staggered, but didn't die. She ripped the stake out, healed instantly. "You can't kill me," Lilith said. "I'm too old, too powerful." "Then we'll settle for containment," Collins said. She appeared at the end of the hallway, with 20 hunters, all armed. They opened fire, UV rounds, holy water grenades, Blessed bullets. Lilith's vampires attacked. The hallway became a war zone, blood everywhere, bodies falling, screams echoing. Collins threw something, a small device. It landed at Lilith's feet, exploded, bright light. Holy radiation, concentrated. Lilith shrieked, fell, her skin burning, melting. Move, Collins ordered. We ran, down the stairs, through the lobby, out into the street. Behind us, the hotel was chaos, vampires fleeing, hunters pursuing. The convention was destroyed. We reached the extraction point, vehicles waiting. As we drove away, I looked back, saw the hotel burning, smoke rising into the Chicago night. Is she dead? Claire asked. I don't know, Collins said, but she's hurt, badly. It'll take her months to recover. By then, we'll be ready. Claire collapsed in the seat, exhausted, her vampire features fading, the adrenaline wearing off. Get me the cure, she whispered. I don't want to be this anymore. Park administered the injection. Claire convulsed, screamed, but after an hour she was human again. The infection gone. She'd survived. Never again, she said. I'm never doing that again. I put my arm around her. You did good. You saved us. All of us. She nodded. Closed her eyes. Slept. And for the first time in months I felt hope. We'd won. Not completely, but enough. The war wasn't over, but we were winning. 6 months passed. The unit rebuilt, new hunters recruited, new operations launched. We hit targets across 3 continents. Vampire nests in Europe, werewolf packs in Asia, demon possessions in South America. We were winning. Slowly, one battle at a time. But Lilith survived. Collins received intel in November. The Vampire Queen had recovered. Went underground, building a new army, planning revenge. She's in Detroit, Collins said during a briefing. Your city, Brennan. She chose it deliberately, wants to draw you out. I looked at the map, red markers throughout Detroit, east side, west side, downtown. Lilith had infected hundreds, maybe thousands. The city was falling. When do we deploy? I asked. Tomorrow. But this time, it's different. Lilith's not just building an army. She's converting government officials, police, politicians. She's taking over from the inside, like Hartman tried, but bigger, more organized. So we expose her, go public, let the world know monsters are real. Collins shook her head. The government won't allow it. Mass panic, economic collapse, social breakdown. They'd rather let Detroit fall than risk that. Then what's the plan? We evacuate who we can, then we burn the city. The room went silent. Everyone stared at Collins. She was serious. You want to destroy Detroit? Claire asked. I want to contain the infection, before it spreads, before Lilith converts the entire state, the entire country. This is triage. We save what we can, sacrifice the rest. No, I said. There has to be another way. There isn't. I've run every scenario, every possibility. This is the only option that works. I stood up, walked out. Couldn't listen anymore. Collins was talking about destroying my home, the city where Rachel died, where Emma and Tyler were buried, where I'd fought and bled and nearly died a dozen times. I wouldn't let it burn. Claire found me an hour later, on the roof, staring at the Washington skyline. You have a plan, she said, not a question, a statement. Yeah. Tell me. We use the cure, like we did in Montana, but bigger. Weaponize it, spread it through Detroit's water supply, force every vampire back to human form. That's insane. The cure's designed for individual treatment, not mass distribution. It could kill thousands, or save millions. Park can modify it, make it safe. I know she can. And if she can't, then we try something else. But we don't burn the city, not while people are still alive. Claire was quiet for a long time. Then she nodded. I'll talk to Park, see if it's possible. Park worked for 3 days, modified the cure, made it stable, safe for mass distribution. On November 15th, she presented her findings. "It'll work," she said. "But there's a catch. The cure needs to be activated. A catalyst, something that triggers the chemical reaction." "What kind of catalyst?" Collins asked. "Vampire blood. Fresh. From a powerful source. The more powerful, the better the reaction." "Lilith's blood," I said. "Exactly. If we can get a sample from her, I can synthesize enough cure to treat the entire city. But you need to capture her alive and extract at least 2 liters. "She'll never surrender," Claire said. "Then we take it by force." We deployed to Detroit on November 18th. 20 hunters, armed with tranquilizers, nets, restraints. Our mission wasn't to kill. It was to capture. Collins had tracked Lilith to an abandoned theater on Woodward Avenue. She'd made it her throne room, surrounded by her inner circle, protected by magic wards, security, traps. Getting inside would be suicide. But we had an advantage. Julia Banks, the cured werewolf. She'd volunteered to help, to repay us for saving her. "I can get you inside," she said. "I still have enhanced senses, enhanced strength. I can bypass the security, lead you to Lilith." "It's too dangerous," I said. "I owe you my life. Let me do this." Julia infiltrated on November 19th, alone, unarmed. She walked through the front entrance, past the guards. They didn't stop her, didn't question her. She looked human, smelled human. But underneath, she still had traces of the infection, enough to register as supernatural. She reached the throne room. Lilith was waiting, sitting in a velvet chair, surrounded by vampires. She smiled when Julia entered. "Another recruit?" Lilith asked. "I'm here to join you," Julia lied. "To fight the unit. They experimented on me, turned me into a weapon, but I escaped. Now I want revenge." Lilith studied her. "You're lying?" She moved fast, grabbed Julia by the throat, lifted her off the ground. "You smell like the cure, like hope, like failure. You're one of theirs." "Now!" Julia shouted. We breached. 20 hunters, smashing through windows, doors, walls. We hit them from every direction. Tranquilizer darts, UV grenades, holy water. The vampires scattered, confused, overwhelmed. But Lilith didn't run. She threw Julia aside, transformed. Her body changed, grew larger, more monstrous. Her skin turned black. Her eyes glowed red. Wings erupted from her back, massive, bat-like. "She's not just a vampire," Park said over comms. "She's something else. Something older." "A demon," O'Brien's replacement said. Father Thomas. He'd been studying demonology for 30 years. "She's possessed. The vampire infection mixed with demonic essence. She's a hybrid." "How do we stop her?" I asked. "Exorcism. But it'll take time. You need to restrain her first." We attacked, all of us. Firing, stabbing, burning. Lilith fought back, killed 3 hunters in seconds, ripped them apart. Their blood sprayed across the walls. Claire shot her with tranquilizers. 6 darts, enough to drop an elephant. Lilith laughed, pulled them out, healed instantly. "You can't stop me," she said. "I'm eternal, I'm death. I'm the end of your species." Then Julia tackled her. They crashed into the throne, broke through the floor, fell into the basement. We followed, found them fighting in the darkness. Julia was holding her own, enhanced strength, enhanced speed. She was matching Lilith blow for blow. "The net!" I shouted. Morrison's replacement threw it. Blessed silver mesh. It wrapped around Lilith. She screamed, the silver burning her skin, smoke rising. We pulled the net tight, restrained her. Father Thomas began the exorcism, Latin prayers, holy water. The demon inside Lilith shrieked, fought, tried to break free. It took an hour, but eventually the demon was expelled. Black smoke pouring from Lilith's mouth. Father Thomas trapped it in a blessed container, sealed it. Lilith collapsed. Still a vampire, but no longer possessed. Weakened. Vulnerable. "Get the blood," I ordered. Park extracted 2 liters. Lilith screamed. thrashed, but we held her down. When Park finished, we had what we needed. "What do we do with her?" Claire asked. I looked at Lilith, at the monster who'd tried to destroy everything, who'd killed dozens of hunters, who'd nearly won. "We cure her," I said. "Make her human. Let her live with what she's done." Park injected the cure. Lilith convulsed, transformed. After 10 minutes, she was human, pale, weak, crying. "Please," she whispered. "Kill me. I don't want to remember. I don't want to live with this." "That's your punishment," I said. "Living." We left her in the theater, alone, human. The police would find her eventually. She'd face trial, prison, justice. But our work wasn't done. Park synthesized the cure, used Lilith's blood as the catalyst, created enough to treat Detroit's entire water supply. On November 22nd, we deployed it, contaminated every reservoir, every pipeline, every source. Within 48 hours, every vampire in Detroit transformed back. Thousands of them, confused, terrified, human. Some couldn't handle it, killed themselves, others sought help, therapy, support. The city organized programs, rehabilitation, healing. Detroit survived, damaged, scarred, but alive. Collins congratulated us, called it our greatest victory, the unit's greatest achievement. We'd saved a city without destroying it, proven that monsters could be cured, redeemed. "You did good, Brennan," she said. "Your family would be proud." I thought about Rachel, Emma, Tyler, about the night they died, the night that started this war. "Maybe," I said. "But the war's not over. It never is. There's always another threat, another monster. That's why we exist." She was right. 2 weeks later, we got a call. A vampire nest in Seattle, a werewolf pack in Denver, a demon possession in Miami. The work continued. The war raged on, but I was ready. I had a team, resources, purpose. I'd lost my family, but I'd gained something else. A mission, a reason to keep fighting. I was Marcus Brennan, soldier, hunter, survivor, and I'd keep fighting until every monster was dead, until every victim was avenged, until the world was safe, or until I died trying, because that's what soldiers do. We fight, we bleed, we sacrifice, and we never give up. Not ever. Marcus Brennan's journey from broken veteran to supernatural hunter is a brutal testament to the price of vengeance and the monsters we must become to fight the darkness. The war against the supernatural never ends, and we'll be here to uncover every battle, every sacrifice, every blood-soaked truth. Like this video if you felt the raw fury of his hunt. Comment below. Which encounter shook you the most? The Detroit Massacre, the Montana Siege, or the Chicago infiltration? Share it with someone who needs to know that monsters walk among us, and there are those who hunt them in the shadows. And if you dare to witness more horrors lurking in the night, subscribe to Mr. Midnight Horror and hit that notification bell. Because when darkness falls and creatures rise, you'll want us by your side to face what comes next.